everybody, Mike Reese here. I'm doing a review again. This is a different review. The reason why I'm doing it now, and it was so soon after the other one, is I've read these before and I've been around them before. I just really wanted to make sure that I got more of these out here. Let me grab something. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a review on Way of the Raven Volume 3 ebook. See if I can give you guys a good picture of it. Let's see. Volume 3. Yeah. Anyways, this is another great edition. The first one, of course, is talking about Way of the Raven. It's talking about the concept principles, how to move the knife, how you hold the knife, how to draw the knife, things of that nature. And then you have Volume 2, which is how to fight with the knife, the concepts and principles of how to, things to be really the thought pattern behind it. A lot of people don't get into. They just kind of show you this, show you that, and don't really get into how to get the flow of everything, how to understand how to fight with the knife. This is a little more what a lot of people look for. This is the actual. There's like some actual technique, techniques sets that you can go through here, and they are broken down by the Guardians, which is a skill set, which is a set of techniques. This Sakari set of techniques, the trapping the wind, blade takedowns, blade grappling, and facing the blade unarmed defense. So, and then there's some other things in there about multiple attackers and some things like that. Now, he doesn't give you techniques for multiple attackers, which is intelligent because there's really not a lot of techniques. But it does give you a guideline on what you need to do, like how you should think about it and maybe how you should train it and drill it. And that's a good idea. What I really love about this isn't so much the techniques. I like the techniques because what they do is they especially if you go in order, they take you from simple, basic stuff, real easy, you can apply it right away, to now we get a little better, a little more. It's the same concepts and principles though, but now we're changing the grip, we're changing the angle, now we're changing the force, we're changing just a few other things just to kind of give you guys a different type of skill set. So it's really good, but I love how he continues to put the force continuum in these. Basically saying, hey, there's certain actions you do with certain, there's subject's action, and the response you should give as someone that's utilizing any of these techniques or utilizing anything when it comes to self-defense. It's a smart breakdown. Level of force gives you that, and then totality of circumstances. That is a big one. Totality of circumstances. That's one thing that a lot of people don't give a lot of credit to, especially when they're commenting on videos or when you are thinking about an instructor when he's talking about certain techniques, is the totality of the circumstances. Like, what circumstances is okay. So I like how it breaks it down. It gives you a lot of different things. It has a list. It might be all reversed on you, I don't know, but pause it, look at it, check it out. Really, it's a good idea, and it's such a smart and I think a wise decision when it comes into that. And then you start getting into the techniques, the Guardian techniques, and they come all the way down to. Let me see. Anyways, you start doing all the Guardian techniques, and you start moving up, and you go through all the angles of attack and basically your response, all the way to, let's see how many Guardian technique sets are there. I call them technique sets because that's kind of what they are. It's just basically utilizing all the stuff you learned in Volume 1 and volume 2, but now you're going to add a technique to it to kind of get an understanding of how it can look, how it can flow, and stuff like that. It's not like you're set here, but it is a good idea, and it's a good way to utilize it, basically work with it. And the first one goes to Guardian set, I think, 7. Yes. And then it starts in the Sakari. And it gives you a description why they use these things, why he uses the terminology that he uses, and the things of that nature. And it works, and it's understandable once you get to understanding it. And I appreciate that, really. And then Sakari's just a few things, but it shows you the differences of what he was showing in the other one. It's a little more tricky. You know, the Sakari were assassins, so it was... and I knew about that beforehand, so I'm so... Like, when I read that kind of stuff, I'm like... I get geeked out a little bit, so it's kind of cool. But they were assassins, so they have a hidden blade. Basically, it's to be felt, not seen, and he shows you different ways and things and ideas about it. Now, you got to be mature about this, because we are talking about utilizing a weapon in a deadly sense, okay, in a deadly way. If you're going to use a knife, there's not like, well, I can stab him in his finger and get... You're applying deadly force. So let's bear in mind, okay? Trapping, and it's called Trapping Wind. This is more of an Apache combative thing, and basically it's trapping and ways of trapping and how to basically move limbs and things like that. Then it talks about jamming, limb obstruction, things like that, which is really cool. And then, like I said, it also talks about blade takedowns. Blade takedowns is anything you use that knife for the blade, whatever blade you're using, in a way to take someone to the floor, which is not used a lot. I don't see a lot of people using it, and I think it's an intelligent factor to use. He's used these in seminars. I've been. I think he put on the ankle one on me once. And that thing hurts like oh man, that hurts so bad. Because it's that hard blade right against your back of your Achilles tendon. That thing sucks. But great stuff happening here. And you know, the one thing also that what I find respectable about this is how there's no knife disarms. It's like no one's stripping a blade. You're not working into this knife disarm, anything like that. You're going right in from, hey, I'm parrying, and then I'm basically trying to remove and trap, I'm trying to jam, and I'm trying to get my blade into an effective range, and I'm trying to attack the person with the weapon. Okay, so that's a combative art. Okay, you're trying to do everything you can to make sure your weapon goes into the bad person or your opponent or your enemy. It's like that is your goal when dealing with weapons. If you feel like that is not your goal with weapons, then you shouldn't use a weapon. Okay? Because weapons are what they are. If you have no intention to do anything deadly or dangerous or anything that's going to cause massive injury or crippling or anything like that, any type of trauma, then you probably should never use a weapon. And I say that, I don't say that like easily either, because I believe everyone should have some sort of idea of how to utilize a weapon, because we live in dangerous times and criminals use weapons. It's a fact. So when I see that, when I see someone that's not even worried about disarms right away, they're not, I mean, they talk about a couple of disarms, but he's not worried about the disarm. He's worried about you going on the offense. You getting that arm pinned and you going on the offense. Because if you have no, if you're worried about just taking that knife away, that's still a defensive maneuver. You're never going to be offensive. So you have to get in the offensive mindset and be like, no, I don't care. I just want that out of the way so I can get my weapon in. And that's a good essential way of thinking about combat. So I really respect that part, because not a lot of people think of that. Everybody's looking for that cool knife disarm, you know, doing this, doing that, and it's like, you know, and it's not that he's incapable. It's more of a wasted time, and he's trying to cut out that wasted time and get right into what's necessary to survive an armed encounter. So I really wanted to bring this review again. Volume 3, big time, awesome book. I really think you should go over these books, but it's like, honestly, if you have that book, really pay attention to the force continuum, The totality of circumstances. Yeah, see, that's not even techniques, but I want you to really pay attention to those things, because those things are what will make you a better combative and tactical person rather than just the regular guy who thinks he knows something about fighting. And then going into the techniques, if you're reading this book, you can read it alone. That's fine, and you can even go through the motions. But really get a partner, and I guarantee you, if you tell someone that you know that is looking for something tactical or is looking for something combative, this is the way to go, and I guarantee you're going to get a partner right away. Either that or contact Ferdinand, or try to find someone in your area that is connected with Raven, and try to get a seminar going and try to get things rolling so you guys can work on this and get a big group of people to really work on these kind of techniques. I'm not, it's like I'm not getting paid for any of this. I really respect this work. It speaks to me because how I think. I think of it in a simplistic way. You have to get away from, move away from the weapon and use your weapon. That's the way you survive. That's the way you fight. That's the way you live. So if you haven't ever been in a situation like that, you won't understand these topics unless it's taught to you by someone who has been. And when you have someone who's been working in Chicago with his bare hands in the Guardian Angels, out on, walking under those streets and working in the cities and working in the subways, and they have to deal with certain circumstances, they can't use weaponry, they can do this, and he knows the dangers of it, then he understands. And the people that he's learned from understand those dangers. The military personnel understand those dangers. And you can understand that these will work for you. But just like anything else, you have to train them. You have to train them with a person so you can feel their grip. You can feel that weapon. You can have that moment of when someone has a training knife and they're flashing it in your face of what you would do. You have to be able to react. These are the ways we learn. This is the way we have to learn. It's like I didn't learn all this stuff just by looking at someone and saying, yep, I can do it. I didn't learn this stuff by just looking at my tablet, my book, or just watching videos and said, yeah, I could do it. I actually had people I trained with. There's people I've always worked with. I've always worked with someone, and it's because you need the physical portion of that. You have to get with people to do this. Okay, I don't care who it is, but get with someone. But definitely work with these techniques. Really go through the material. Understand the material and not just go, oh, okay. And remember, it's an accompaniment to the other two volumes. Don't just buy this because I said there's techniques in it. Buy the other two volumes so you can understand what's going on here, like how he's holding the knife, what it's going for, what the angles are, what he's using. Maybe you can even start seeing like how he's using the knife, and then you start seeing the volume 2 stuff of like basically where the flow and tempo of each of these are going to be happening in, and you can see how to move, you can see how that's going to flow, and you can see how things can work out. So you need to have them, like basically get them to accompany you. Okay, so the next review, this is a longer review than normal, but the next review will be volume 4. I'm going to check that out. I'm actually going to read it now. If I get done with it tonight, which is possible, they're not really horribly long. And if I get it done tonight, I'm going to do another review right away. So expect this review to go up, and then a review after that, probably not too far after that. Okay. I don't know what time I'll be able to get these up, but when I get them up, I'm going to probably do them one right after another if I get them both done. So, okay, I want you guys to check these out. I'm going to keep the links going below to the other, I'm going to have my other videos down there. You know what, I'm not going to do the other videos, but I am going to go ahead and put down there that if the links for you to go check out to look at his other material out there. So I'm going to continue to put that link down below. That way you can check it out. Big time buy in my book. You really should check out these materials and really go through what this is all about, because this is about real good tactical and combative self-defense and use of a weapon and blade, probably in a way that a lot of people don't do it. So I would definitely recommend it. Okay, so I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching.